Hola amigos de Con el Calzón por Fuera, estamos de plácemes porque estamos con la súper talentosa Ann Nocenti, escritora legendaria de Daredevil en los 80s. Vamos a hacer unas preguntas muy rápido. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I wanted to ask you a question about acts of vengeance. Do you remember the point of history in the Marvel universe?
It was one of the crossovers.
Yeah, it was a crossover.
So in the early days at Marvel Comics in the 1980s, some of the X-Men office, we came up with the idea of doing crossovers. So if you wanted to do a crossover, for instance, we did one called Inferno, or maybe it was Acts of Vengeance, and you just run up and down to everyone's office and you say, do you want your characters to go to hell? Because at that time it was going to hell. And so I was the editor of the X-Men, and Chris wanted to go to hell, Chris Claremont.
Yes.
And then Ralph Macchio asked me, as the writer of Daredevil, did I want to go to hell? And I said, yes, of course I want to go to hell. So I had Daredevil, I had people on subway cars, and because New York City subway cars are really, really scary places. And so I had people...
Death traps.
Yes, death traps. So I had people on the subway, and suddenly the subway is going right down to hell. And there was a scene where somebody went into a dentist chair, and suddenly the dentist is like a demon from hell. So I thought of all the things that we don't really want to do that feel hellish already. And so that's how that happened. And so back then, you would just ask all the other writers at Marvel, the Avengers office, the Fantastic Four office, Captain America office, Spider-Man office, do you want to go to hell? And then everybody would say yes or no, I'm far too busy. So that's how the crossover started. And then we did Inferno, we did Acts of Vengeance, we did Mutant Massacre.
Mutant Massacre.
And then the biggest one, which was too much, I thought, was Secret Wars, where suddenly all the characters had to be involved. So that's a crossover.
It was a challenge. Wasn't it?
A big challenge. And also, then when I was at DC Comics, I was writing Catwoman for the Batman family, and Scott Snyder, who's a writer for Batman, he sent everybody in the Bat family, and the Bat family was Batgirl, Robin, Catwoman, Batwing, Nightwing, all of it. And we all got an email saying, I want to do a story where the Joker tortures everybody Batman loves. And the secret is that it's the Joker that's in love with Batman, but you can't reveal that in your story. So I did 2 Catwoman stories where the Joker is torturing Catwoman and she doesn't know why. And he basically, the secret is that the Joker is in love with Batman.
It's not that a secret, I mean.
Well, it was how we were supposed to play the story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So you get an email like that, and you're like, cool, I like that story, I want to play.
Yeah.
Or you say, I've already got an epic plan that's going to take a year, I can't possibly play in your sandbox with your Barbie dolls, and then you say no. So I usually say yes, I'll play, because it's fun.
It's fun to write.
Yeah, and so then it was all collected in a book called Death in the Family. It was great. It turned out great. But a lot of that had to do with Scott Snyder being in charge and letting everyone just do whatever they wanted with this one simple idea. Joker tortures Catwoman and she doesn't know why. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And now back to the 80s and back to Marvel Comics. You wrote this comic book. It was a part of the Acts of Vengeance crossover. Why did you choose to have Daredevil against Ultron and against Mephisto? Why? Because they both are way out of Matt Murdock's league. Yeah.
Yeah. So Daredevil is a lawyer.
Yes.
So if you have ever had anything to do with a lawyer, They have silver tongues. They can talk you into anything.
Yes.
They are used to going in front of a jury and getting a murderer off. And so Daredevil, it made sense for Daredevil to argue with Mephisto about soul, because he's also a Catholic. You know, he's a Catholic that wears a devil's suit. He's a lawyer who, you know, that gets justice for criminals, and and when he can't get justice, he uses his fist. So he's a very complicated character. So to me, his silver tongue is a weapon.
Yes.
And so he was able to talk to Mephisto about soul in a way that he interested Mephisto. And I did that kind of thing again with, I did a Spider-Man story where Spider-Man fought Thanos. Now Thanos is death. You can't fight death. But Spider-Man talks Thanos into letting a little boy live. But yeah, so you can do those stories, but it's a bigger job because you have to really make it work. You have to build to where the reader goes, yeah, that's possible that Thanos would let that person come back from the dead, you know?
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah, it's a hard job.
Well, thanks a bunch. Esta fue Ann Nocenti. Aplauso.
Oh, thank you.
Muchísimas gracias.
Yeah, happy to be here in Malecon in Mexico. Yeah.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Thanks a bunch.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.